Gamers out there, if you're looking for a one-stop shop for all the latest gaming news, then this is the video for you. From Multiversus making hits on all platforms to the new owners of Deus Ex Studios wanting to bring back the game, we've got you covered. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be entertained. And who knows, maybe you'll even learn something new. Kicking us off, Multiversus has what it takes to be the best free-to-play game on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. You can choose a character from any of their properties, just like in Smash, but instead of Nintendo, Warner Brothers, DC Comics, HBO, Turner Entertainment, and Cartoon Network all have licenses for some of the characters. So Scooby-Doo characters could make fun of Steven Universe, or Harley Quinn could hit a Game of Thrones character in the face. Rain Dog is a unique character who's half reindeer and half dog. He may be the best character in the game without anyone noticing. Don't tell anyone though. In this game, team play is more important than in Smash. Characters can equip perks and create synergies that are key to winning. Moves and characters are made to work well together, and if you want to win, you need to stack buffs and debuffs and move enemies between yourself and your allies. I think I'm about 15 hours in, and this makes it more interesting to me. Running into an Iron Giant and Finn the Human who know what they're doing online is a lot different than running into two random people who spam Batman. The way people work together keeps you on your toes. It's still early, but Multiversus has what it takes to stand on top of the free-to-play Mount Olympus, with its shoulders back and chest out, looming over all the other games that have come out before it. And that's because of a few things. We'll see if everything still looks this good when the game moves from its open beta phase to its full launch phase. But so far, everything seems to be a statement of intent from both Warner Brothers, Interactive Entertainment, and Player First Games. And the fact that the game had more than 60,000 players before it even came out is sure to encourage the developer. You can tell that this game wants to be around for a while because it uses so many licenses at once. If it didn't, you wouldn't be using so many licenses at once. And I'm sure I'll still be playing it in a year. Next, this twist on Yoshi is said to have helped make Super Mario 64 possible. Croc, Legend of the Gobos, a 3D platform game that came out in 1997, is said to have helped make Super Mario 64 possible. In an interview with Edge magazine, Jez Sand, the founder of Argonaut Software, talks about how Croc had a sad beginning and a happy ending. Sand remembers, "We had a long-term deal with Nintendo, and we wanted to make a 3D platform game for them because no one else had. We came up with that," he says. Argonaut didn't think that Nintendo would let them use Mario, so they used Yoshi instead. They made a game called Yoshi Racers. When they showed it to Miyamoto, he said it was great and loved it. Then he said no. Sand remembers that what we showed them looked a lot like what they later did for Mario 64. After Nintendo released the game, Sand saw Miyamoto at a show and told him, "Sorry, we didn't end up making that game with you, but thank you for giving us the direction for Mario 64. Sand says that Argonaut still wanted to work on the game, so they made their own story and characters. This gave birth to Croc, a green reptile that looks a lot like Yoshi. Croc, Legend of the Gobos was a huge hit for Argonaut. 2 years after it came out, a sequel came out. If we had the money sooner, Croc would have been out before Mario 64 because we were way ahead," Sand tells Edge. "We had been working on it for 4 years, but Nintendo has unlimited resources, so they got their game out first. Even though Mario would have probably always been the best game on the N64, it's interesting to think about a world where it wasn't always the best example of an early 3D platformer." Moving on, Sea of Thieves Season 7 lets Captain turn in a ship's worth of loot in seconds. As part of Sea of Thieves' 7th season, the Big Captaincy update is finally out, and players are finding a huge surprise benefit to becoming a ship owner. There's a new, much faster way to move treasure from your ship, which makes selling loot a lot less stressful. When you have a full ship's worth of loot and want to sell it all at an outpost for a lot of money, that is the most stressful part of playing Sea of Thieves. In the time it takes to bring all of your treasure one piece at a time from your ship to the different merchants at the outpost, a hostile crew may have boarded your anchored ship to steal your hard-earned loot and leave your proud vessel sinking to the ocean floor. But Sea of Thieves players who just bought their own ships are finding out that there's a great new way to drastically cut down the time it takes to sell loot and avoid what I just said. See, ship owners get access to the new Sovereign faction of merchants, which is basically a one-stop shop for captains to sell all kinds of loot. Yeah, if you own a ship, you no longer have to go to different merchants to sell your loot. And even better, just above the Sovereign storefront is a platform with a harpoon mounted on it. You can use this to quickly get things from your ship. This gives being a captain a whole new use I didn't expect, and it's clear that Rare put it in Season 7 on purpose. In related news, rumors say that the new owner of the Deus Ex studio wants to bring the series back. Eidos Montreal, the company that makes modern Deus Ex games, reportedly wants to get back to the Cyberpunk series right away and beat Cyberpunk 2077 in the process. Jeff Grubb, a well-known insider, said these things on Giant Bomb's Game Mess Mornings podcast. Grubb says that internal talks about Eidos Montreal's next project are still very early, but he says that the studio is eager to get back to Deus Ex. It's morning. I've heard that the studio wants to start work on Deus Ex right away. They want to do that again right away. They want to be hard to beat. They want to do things like what Cyberpunk 2077 couldn't do. That's what people are saying. We'll have to wait and see. It's too early to tell what will happen. But there's no way for that conversation to start with Square Enix as it is now, right? Square Enix used to own Eidos Montreal and the Deus Ex franchise, but in a $300 million deal, they were sold to the Embracer Group along with Crystal Dynamics and the Tomb Raider IP. Embracer said that Deus Ex was one of the franchises it saw great potential in, along with Tomb Raider, Thief, and Legacy of Kain. It hinted at sequels, as well as remakes, remasters, spin-offs, and transmedia projects. Embracer has also said that Eidos Montreal and the other studios it has recently bought are working on very sizable AAA experiences in the pipeline. These include beloved franchises that we'll own, as well as original IPs, Embracer said. Just before the Embracer sell, it was said that there would be a new Tomb Raider game. Square Enix says it was worried that the sales of its Japanese games would go down because of these Western games. Finally, Warhammer 40,000 Darktide developer Fat Shark's futuristic follow-up to Vermintide is offering beta sign-ups, with playtests set to kick off later this month. On the official site, you can now sign up for the Darktide beta. The developers say that the beta will start as early as mid-August, and there'll be more tests before the game comes out. Early tests will be done on PC, but eventually Xbox players will also be able to join the beta. Early versions of the beta will focus on a variety of technical tests, and invites will be limited based on things like your platform, specs, or location. You only have to sign up once though, and you'll be considered for all betas. Early test results won't be carried over to the final game, and the developers say that won't change until closer to launch. The PC version of Darktide will come out on November 30th, and the Xbox Series X and S versions will come out soon after that. The game was supposed to come out on September 13th, but it was pushed back from spring 2022, and before that, from 2021. In the most recent delay announcement, the developer said, "While we have been humbled by the great feedback on the game so far, we also need more time to improve stability, performance, and to mature key systems. Each is critical to making sure we have the best possible experience for you, the players." Well, that's all the time we have for today. For more amazing content, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, cheers.